If you love glitter and ombres, this one's going to be for you. What's up, nail crew? It's Nicole, your fellow nail obsessed DIYer. Today we are doing vertical ombres with glitter. I've gotten a bunch of requests for some vertical ombres, and I'm going to try to work on those as much as I can. So I thought this gorgeous glitter would be perfect for it. And you just saw me dump some of my shimmer out. That is pretty much how I roll. If you've never seen any of my videos, you're going to learn quickly that I'm messy, but I like to keep it real here. And I figured I'm going to keep all my messes and mistakes in all my videos. So that's why there's a bunch of purple sitting on the side of my video. Now let's jump right into this mani. The first thing that I do when I'm doing an ombre mani with glitters is I like to dip the solid color. So since I'm going to do a vertical ombre, I start with one layer of the purple shimmer. It's called Was It Always Purple from OG Dip Powder. And the glitter that I'm going to use is called Salmon Skin Roll. When I'm doing a vertical ombre, I only apply my second layer of dip over part of the nail. And I do this to leave room for the glitter. So you can see me on my pointer finger that I am only going to cover part of my nail on the second dip. I'm leaving the area where a majority of my glitter is going to be. I'm leaving that just a little bit of the purple underneath it from the first dip. This way your nails don't get too thick. And especially if you're like me and you have short nails, you definitely don't want your nails to be super thick. Even when I have long nails, I do the same thing because when my nails are long, I still don't like them to be thick. Any nails that I'm not going to have glitter on, I like to do my color dips and then I like to encapsulate them in clear and activate them. This is because I tend to be a little bit messy with my glitters. So on my middle finger, I'm just doing the shimmer and I wanted to make sure that I do my 2 full dips and then encapsulate it in clear so I don't get any glitters in it. Before I even put the clear over top of any of the glitters on them, I like to make sure I have all of my solid color or shimmer color dipped first. I'm also doing the vertical glitter ombre on my ring finger so that you can see I only do the second dip on part of the nail as well. I don't cover the part of my ring finger that's right beside my middle finger so that leaves a little bit of room for the glitter ombre. And now I can go through and encapsulate my middle finger with clear dip powder. I like to pour over my clear dip powder. It stops me from contaminating my clears. Since I'm really messy, I tend to contaminate my clears easily, and I definitely don't want to do that. So I like pouring over all my clears, and that helps me from stopping and contaminating them so much. Then I activate them, and whenever you're using a dark color, you want to make sure that you wipe off your activator brush in between each layer before you apply it back to your nail. Then you're not going to get the dark colors onto the activator brush and potentially get that on your next mani when you're activating. Now I'm going to jump into this gorgeous glitter. It's called Salmon Skin Roll. I have to be honest, it's from a Friends collection, and I don't remember this scene. I watched Friends, but it was years ago, and I'm super forgetful, so all I know is it's a really gorgeous glitter. And I like to do all of my full glitter dips first before I focus on my ombres. I like to do that last, just so that I can have all my focus on the ombre and not be concerned about any other dips that need done. So when you're dipping glitters, you want to make sure for the first layer, you pick up a decent amount of the glitters, but you don't have to pick up a ton unless they're really fine glitters. When they're really fine glitters, I like to pick up as much as I can on both dips. When they're a little bit chunkier, even if it's like a medium chunk like this or like a small chunk, I don't worry about picking up all the glitters on the first try. Now you can see on the top of my thumbnail that I missed some of the glitter when I was doing the application. So I didn't shake up the glitter as much as I should have and just kind of like plopped my nail down in it. The way that I get the glitters to apply really evenly without having to do a lot of work is I pour them into a dip cup liner. One of these ones that you see here, I used to use cupcake liners, but I spilled those a lot, and then once these dip cup liners came out from SJ3 Designs, I spill so much less using them, so I absolutely love them. Typically, I only spill when I drop the actual jar of dip now, instead of when I bumped into the glitter that was in the cupcake liner, it would get knocked over much easier. On my thumbnail, I had to go in with a little bit more base and lay my nail back into the glitters to make sure that I picked up the rest of the glitters in that bare spot that I missed. Anytime I'm applying glitter, I like to to take a piece of masking tape or washi tape now, put it on the opposite hand that I'm doing the mani on, and then press the glitters down with it. Now we're jumping into the ombre, and you saw me apply the dip base on most of my nail, but I don't apply it the full way over because I don't want any glitter to get onto the very edge, onto the very right side of my nail. And I tried to do some tapping at first and saw that it wasn't picking up enough of these glitters, so I just flipped my hand to the side and laid it into where there's more of the glitter concentrated in the little dip cup, and then I took my ombre brush and tapped it on to give it that ombre effect. And this is what's so nice about doing vertical ombres, is you can lay your nail into the glitter a little bit to pick up more of a concentration on the one side, and then just do some tapping to get that ombre falling down effect. And that's what I went and did with my ring finger. I just jumped right into laying it into the glitter and then tapping. It worked so well. It just gave this really easy ombre effect. And I always try to do things as easily as possible, okay? I'm not trying to like do anything fancy right now, or if I'm doing an ombre, I want it to look as nice as possible with doing as minimal work as possible. If you're still struggling with doing your basic dip nails, then make sure you check out the first pinned comment. I have my Dip Nails 101 guide linked there. It is the ultimate guide for dipping your nails at home. It has everything from prep to application to removal, and it's over 45 pages long. I created it for all my beginner friends who are tired of not having all the information in one place. It has pictures, tons of tips and tricks, and literally everything I've learned over the past 4 years. Now, jumping back into this ombre, whenever you don't have enough of the glitters in the spots that you want for the ombre look, you can just go and you can place some of the glitter pieces in there for your ombre. So I did a little bit of placing and then a little bit of just laying my nail into it, because on my pointer finger, I could just apply a couple pieces of the glitter and it worked really well. But on my ring finger, there were some bare spots that needed a little bit of extra glitter. And rather than placing a ton of them, I decided to just dab a couple dots of dip base and then lay my nail into it. And I still had that beautiful ombre effect going. And then once you're done with all of your glitter nails, I like to go through and press them down just to make sure that I got all of my glitter pressed down as well as I possibly can. And then I'll go through and I'll encapsulate with clear dip powder. Now, normally I would pour over my clear dip powder, but my glitter dip powder is so contaminated with glitters. I really need to clean it. So I've just been laying my nail into it. And this way I can pick up like the cleaner, clear glitter up at the top and let the heavier glitters fall to the bottom. One of my friends suggested using those K-cups to clean your clear glitter, and I could not get it to work. I'm way too messy. I mean, I saw how she did it and it worked really well, but I'm just way too messy to do that. So I tried a couple different strainers and I saw somebody suggest another strainer. I'm going to try that as well and see if I can get my clear glitter to be nice and clear again. Once I finish applying my clear dip powder over all of my nails, I brush off the excess so that I don't get any thicker nails than I need. And then I go with my activator. And I like to do 2 layers of the activator to get it to activate, like make sure it's through all of my nails. So I dunk the activator in the bottle, slap it on the finger, dunk it back in, slap it on that same finger again, and go through and I do that with 5 nails. Then once they're dry, I filed, buffed, and shaped. I like to go around my cuticles with a drill bit just to make sure that there's nothing stuck in my skin and give them that nice, crisp, clean cuticle line. And now I'm gonna go through and we're gonna talk about how to top coat with OG Dip Powder liquids to get that gorgeous shine. Whatever dip liquid you're using, always make sure you follow their instructions for top coating, because most dip liquids are a little bit different. There are some similarities in how they top coat, but the application, the timing is just a little bit different. So with OGs, you want to do one hand at a time. Do heavy activator on each nail. So I dunk the activator brush in the bottle, put it on my first thumbnail, and then dunk it back in and do it again. And I do that to all 5 nails. Once I get to my pinky, I count to 10 and then start on my thumbnail and do 2 to 3 quick strokes of the top coat. You want to make sure that you're floating the top coat. No matter what dip liquids I use, I always float my top coat. This helps the top coat from getting contaminated, which means it would be getting hard. That's what people mean when they say a top coat is getting contaminated. So I do 2 to 3 quick strokes on all 5 nails, going one at a time. And with the OG dip liquids, I do not need to wipe off the brush, the top coat brush, in between each nail. And I also like to cap my edges on the first first and second layers if I'm going to be wearing my manis for a while. Once you finish the first layer of top coat on all 5 nails and you end with your pinky, then you'll immediately go back to your thumb to start on the second layer of top coat. For the OG liquids, I float both layers, and I really do that for every brand that I'm using, floating both layers. I've just personally found that floating your top coat just allows the top coat to like level out much nicer than pressing it in really hard. If you're all about the ombre nails and want to learn more, make sure you check out this next video where I do another type of ombre. Thanks so much for joining me today, Nail Crow.